A good afternoon to you this Saturday, and I hope you're having yourself a rejuvenating day. And the time is right for NTV at 1. I'm your host, Olive Burrows. On the 13th of March 2020, Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe made an announcement that marked the end of life as Kenyans had known it and the beginning of the new normal. It was the first announcement of the confirmation of a coronavirus disease patient in the country. What was initially a foreign problem became a local reality. Today, 1 year after that announcement, we take stock of how the year has been. We will get to hear from different people in various counties on what the year has been like for them. We shall hear from some business persons in Kakamega County, where Zacchaeus Masame is on standby to lead us into that. In Nakuru County, Bridget Ngana will be speaking to some key stakeholders in this whole situation, and that is the transport sector. Lois Wangoi is standing by in Uasin Gishu County, where she will be feeling the pulse of some residents in light of the pandemic year. And in Rongo, Migori, we get to hear from Bernard Ojwang and some residents from the county of Migori on how the year has been for them. We start with Mwasame. Zacchaeus, we are quite eager to hear what the people of Kakamega have to say.
Thank you, Gladys. We are coming to you live from Kakamega town here in the heart of Western Kenya, and this is a year that has have had very negative reflections from the day the country recorded the first COVID-19 case here. Of course, with a lot of realignments in terms of how we do our things, how we gather, how we move, how we travel, and not to forget about the business people who are affected so much with the coming of the pandemic. And one of the groups that are affected are the bar owners and the musicians. We used to depend on how to perform in clubs to get their...
Unfortunately, we're having problems with that connection, but I did mention we have Bridget Ngana in Nakuru County speaking to those in the transport sector. Bridget, what are their sentiments a year in?
So since yesterday only, we've been speaking with the Matatu stakeholders here in Nakuru County in anticipation of the meeting that the President directed between the Ministries of Health and Transport in reviewing the COVID-19 regulations. So far, they have reduced the number of passengers in the Matatus or the public service vehicles, but now they are hoping that they'll be let free to continue with services just before they were given these new directives, but they are still holed up in a meeting. We were expecting to speak with the key officials, the Central Rift Matatu Association chair, who is based here in Nakuru County, to just speak with us, because yesterday in Nyeri County they were having deliberations in light of what the President would speak about, and this was in the heels of the President's speech. So we were expecting to speak with them, and we will be following up on that. But right now we are in the streets of Nakuru, getting a feel of how life has been for people since we had the first patient of the coronavirus announced in the country. And I'm going to be speaking with a small businessman here in Nakuru town. Just welcome to NTV. Tell us how life has been for you since the first case or the first patient was announced that Kenya had coronavirus within its borders.
My name is Richard Orina. Honestly, things had been so much tough pertaining the sector of tourism. Honestly, things are not that easy. Even up to now, I can't say anything that things have started reforming or maybe things have started picking up.
Yes.
Not yet, but we have high hopes that things might be better. But as per now, not that good.
This, I think, is a curious shop. Just tell us, in terms of ideally, right now we're anticipating Easter holiday. How busy would you have been last year compared to this year because of tourism now coming to a standstill, especially in this region?
This time round is supposed to be the high season because we are heading for Easter. We could have been having more visitors as per now. We could have been very much busy, but surely we have no any appointment or maybe an indication showing that visitors are coming. Totally.
The Ministry of Tourism was talking about boosting local tourism. How has it been for you now selling your wares to locals, and also the suppliers that you depend on? There are people who work from home and depend on your sales for them to get their money. How has it been? How have you been juggling that? Do you see yourself still in this line in maybe the next 6 months of business?
Let me say that many have been said. Promises have been made, but honestly nothing has been fulfilled. Okay, as per now, it's about we and our living God. But we do have some little people, local tourists who do come once in a while, and they do buy. Because even though the local tourists and us, we are sharing the same situation, but at least they are better off than nothing. Yeah.
How has life been for you, maybe as a person at a family level and also as a Kenyan in this new season or in this new normal that now is a year into it? We are used to the COVID-19 pandemic now.
Let me say it's by the grace of God. And there before, let me say that there was something small that we had reserved aside purposely for the family use. Is the one that we have been using for all that time, but the real that has been left is the one that we are still again making up with it, hoping that things are going to be better. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're much welcome.
So it's a pandemic that shook us to the core in terms of even our lives and even our personalities, and also affecting our daily living in terms of even how we get our daily bread. And the effect and impact of the COVID-19 pandemic in this country is still being felt even as we go through the third wave. And right now, even speaking with Richard here, you can get a sense that all is not well, all is not normal. A lot of promises from the government, but still from the common mananchi, they have to feel the impact of these directives and threats, or maybe how life has really transformed for them. There's still hope for better days. So even though things are hard, there's a lot of hope and a lot of optimism.
Thank you, Richard Orina, for speaking to Bridget Ngana. And Bridget, thank you for getting my name right. We now are joining Lois Wangui, who I also mentioned is in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County. And in recent days, Uasin Gishu has been featuring among the 5 counties with the highest number of new COVID-19 infections. Lois Wangui now speaks to some residents in Eldoret on how their one-year experience in a pandemic has been.
Indeed, Olive, as you note, it is 1 year for Uasin Gishu County and indeed the entire country since COVID-19. Just before we speak to the residents, to just give you a perspective and an understanding of how Uasin Gishu County found its way to among the top counties with the highest number of COVID-19 infections, is that this particular county, and in particular Eldoret town, is placed on an international highway. The road that you can see there on your TV, it is called Uganda Road. This international highway exits to the neighboring Uganda, Ethiopia and South Sudan countries in both human resource and transit goods. And that particular item really contributed to the number of infections going up. When COVID first came in, there were near nil or even nil numbers. But as Eldoret continued to experience the transit of persons and goods through this international highway, then the numbers went up quite high because the disease was transported from outside Uasin Gishu to inside. So how has the 1 year been? Wacha tuongee na mzee huyu. Kwanza mzee, majina yako, na mwaka mmoja baada ya maradhi ya COVID kufika hapa Uasin Gishu na nchini, umekuwa mwaka wa aina gani kwako?
Kwa majina naitwa Bishop Joseph Mutai, ni mkaaji wa Uasin Gishu. COVID wa mwaka mmoja ambao uliopita imetukarimu, ametuletea shida sana. Hasa mimi kama mchungaji. Makanisa zetu zimekosa pesa, hata wachungaji wameanza kuacha kazi. Wamejiunga na saramala, wamejiunga na mechanic, wengine wameenda nyumbani ili wasilale njaa. Hata wengine wanauza vyombo vya makanisa ili waweze kujimudu na familia zao.
Asante Bishop, wacha tupate mwingine. Mwanadada hapa, you told me your name was Carol. Carol, it has been 1 year of COVID-19 infections in the country. As a young woman, as a young youth in this country, what is your experience of COVID-19?
COVID has greatly changed our way of living, especially because of loss of income. And especially for someone like me, being a business person, the economic activities have really been affected. So there's nothing much as far as business is concerned. Also, there's living in anxiety because you're not sure of what tomorrow holds. Right now, we've been informed that there is a second wave of COVID, and we don't know the impact, the depth of that as compared to the initial one. So we live in a lot of anxiety, not knowing what tomorrow holds. And for those of us who have siblings, brothers, and sisters in schools, we don't know how safe they are. We are really glad glad that it's even coming to a close now.
Many thanks, Caro. Maybe you can just have one more person. Yes, your name, mommy, and your experience with COVID-19. How are you affected directly, or if not indirectly, what has been your experience?
Thank you so much. I am Dorcas Cherop, and COVID has really caused a lot of effects. For example, being a student, it has caused a real mess, because in school you find that there are many students right now who are really anxious. They don't know what is the next thing for them. They don't know when they'll be affected by COVID. Now having the third wave is really another danger, because people are thinking of, are the schools going to be closed down again? Also, in terms of business, business has been affected in that you want to go for your goods whenever you are going for it, you are so anxious. You don't know at what time you'll come home, and yet there is curfew.
Yeah. Let me ask you, you're a student, right?
Yes.
So are you worried? Is it double worry for students in schools? Is that affecting your mode of study, for instance? Are you reading under stressful conditions?
Of course, it is really affecting the students, because while you are at school, you know that intermingling. You are not used to not interacting with your friends normally, washing hands, the mask. It is so difficult to put up with it. And psychological affection, that effect that causes psychologically, while you are reading, you're having the mask, and it's really affecting you psychologically.
Many thanks. Just as you wind up your experience, very, very shortly.
Okay, my name is Wilson Rotich. I teach at Kisii University, Eldoret campus. And my experience is that COVID-19 taught us that we can survive with a very small space. We were able, in the education sector in the university, were able to teach virtually online, something that we couldn't do earlier. So COVID-19 has taught us that we can do that. And also...
Just cut you short because of time. Many thanks. Those are some of the residents of Uasin Gishu County just giving their experiences. As I wind up to note that Uasin Gishu County has been able to battle the infections versus the deaths, because there is very good health infrastructure here. This county is home to the second largest referral hospital, that is MTRH, and even outside Nairobi, Uasin Gishu County is among the top counties with quite a number of heavy infrastructure when it comes to private hospitals, and that comes with great infrastructure that goes to contain the COVID spread here in this particular county. And that is why the deaths have been quite minimal vis-a-vis the rising COVID infections. Olive?
Thank you, Lois Wangwe. Lois Wangwe speaking to us from Eldoret. She's interviewed a number of residents. Earlier, we started with Zacchaeus Mwasame in Kakamega County, but the connection was iffy. It appears to have stabilized. Mwasame, where did you leave off?
Thank you so much, Gladys. Sorry for that technical hitch earlier on, but now we can get you very clearly. Now, like I was saying, that one of the businesses that was affected so much was the restaurant and social places business. And now we are joined by Sandra Opesa, one of the managers of one of the social joints here in Kakamega, and she will share with us how they were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Sandra, you are live on NTV. Maybe tell us shortly, how did the COVID-19 affect your business?
Well, few industries compared to bar industries have been affected more in a very large way. Me being the 37 lounge manager, we've been affected in a way whereby we felt the impact. Most of our customers, we've lost them at a large number. 37 Lounge being a bar and eatery restaurant, most of our customers have not been coming in because of the pandemic, which has caused a lot of havoc business-wise. So looking at the hours that we've been given from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning, this is quite a difficult thing to handle, because business-wise, it's just a difficult thing to handle.
What we talk about in terms of, in terms of money, how much are you losing per day since the pandemic?
In a good day, we'd make 300,000, but now that corona strike so hard, we'd make only 30,000 shillings, making it so hard to pay our employees and also to pay our rent.
That is devastating. Thank you so much, Sandra. Now we also have a performer. This is an artist who has been depending on the live performances in these places, social places. Maybe Freddy Tolo Kivambo. Tell us shortly, wewe umeathirika kivipi bwana na ujio wa corona?
Mimi naweza kusema kwamba nimeathirika directly. Manake ujio wa corona walisema kwamba inaambukizana sana kwa mkusanyiko. So kwa sababu ya social distancing, mimi nikitaka kucheza perform lazima kuwe na social gather, kuwe na watu wengi. So I've been really affected kwa sababu tangu huo wakati mahali penye mimi huwa na perform kwa clubs, na clubs kumewekwa curfew. So mwenye club anategemea auze, akiuza ndio apate faida ndio anilipe. Na mimi niko na watu ambao nimeajiri, watu ambao wananitegemea, wale lazima nilipwe na mimi niwalipe sasa. Kwa hivyo mimi nimekuwa affected pamoja na watu wangu ambao nimekuwa nimeajiri.
Okay, thank you so much, Freddy. Those are some of. Thank you so much, Freddy. Therefore, Gladys, you can hear from those are some of the people who have been affected directly by the coming of the pandemic, and they say they were hopeful that maybe the president could just adjust slowly in their favor, but that did not happen. Yes. Therefore, my name is Zacchaeus Masame from Kakamega. Now back to you in studio.
Thank you, Zacchaeus. We move on to Migori County, where Bernard Ojwang is standing by. Bernard, I know a lot of people were hoping that a year in will be over the COVID-19 pandemic. How are they feeling now that the curfew has been extended and various measures have been announced by President Uhuru Kenyatta?
Well, thank you very much. As you've said, it is 1 year down the line since the first case of COVID-19 was reported here in the country. Indeed, it was a sad moment for the country since everything came to a standstill. We saw for the first time in the history of the country schools being closed indefinitely. And of course, even the economy of the country was paralyzed in a big deal. And of course, as you can see behind me, things are trying at least to come to normalize, but it has not reached where it was before the COVID-19. And of course, we'll be talking to one of the people here in Rongo Town. Just tell us, it is 1 year down the line. Could you just please, how is the situation?
Actually, the situation has been worse because if you can see, the business has been paralyzed. Things are not normal. If you go back to schools where our school-going pupils are, they cannot be able to even take lunch in their schools because as a result of the COVID-19.
When we talk of, you saw yesterday, President Uhuru Kenyatta came up with the other containment measures saying that no political gatherings and also burial. Because of the new arrival of another flow of COVID-19, do you think it's a good move that the president made?
Indeed, we appreciated the stand that was imposed by the president, because if you can see, things people normally assumed, if you can see, some of them actually walk without putting on masks. They could not even wash their hands. So we appreciated whatever the stand president took yesterday to ensure that everybody is safe and we protect the life of our people.
Kenyans are currently blaming politicians because each and every time, even some of the top big politicians, they are the people who are having these big rallies, and it is attributed to this the new infection of the COVID-19. Are you supporting the idea that many people are saying?
I seriously supporting the idea of disbanding all the political rallies, because as you can see, most of the new cases are coming as a result of the gatherings which are brought about by the politics.
Okay, thank you. You've just heard from one of the businessmen here in Rongo Town. Is saying that they are really supporting the move that was taken by the President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday, banning all political rallies. And of course, they are also, you've just heard from him, they are also appealing to a politician at least to be as an example to many Kenyans, and also help the country, also help the Ministry of Health in the fight against the spread of COVID-19 in the country. Back to you.
Thank you, Bernard. And away from matters COVID-versary, we have something special cooking in the kitchen for you, being that it's lunchtime and it is a Saturday. Here is a taste as we take our next break. Women are naturally nurturers, and for some of it, it extends to wildlife conservation. Pioneering women conservationists such as Salome Lema Lasia, yes, are working to save the endangered northern black rhino. Melita Oletenges brings the story of the Rhino Guardians tonight at 7 and 9 p.m. Here is a sneak peek.
The bravery, dedication and passion of the guardians of the northern black rhino species here at the Serra Conservancy is keeping rhinos off harm's way.
Kuna kazi kusema hii ni ngumu, hii kazi ni ya wanaume peke yake. Tuko tayari kwa chochote.
Ukiona kama hiyo mtoto ya faru ni kama tu vile anatunza ni mtoto yake.
The rhino has poor eyesight, but is sharp in me. I was charged by a rhino. He came and pushed the tree. I fall down. Then I just slept under the tree.
Situated in the Kitengela suburbs, Kitengela Plains is an affordable, pristine residential community of 48 modern villas located off Namanga Road, a 30-minute drive from the CBD. The 4-bedroom all-en-suite villa offers a spacious living area, a modern kitchen, a private garden, a play area and a borehole at only 9.8 million shillings. Call 0710 783 955 or 0798 569 274. Kitengela Plains. Welcome home.
Mimi hutumia mbolea inayoitwa Elgon Babiti DAP kwa upanzi wa mimea yenye afya bora. Halafu natumia mbolea ya Babiti CAN ama Babiti Urea kwa ukuaji wa mimea bora. Hii imenisaidia kupata mavuno mengi nikilinganisha na siku za hapo mbeleni.
Mbolea ya Elgon Thabiti inapatikana kwa viwango vya kilo 10, 25 na kilo 50 kote nchini. Elgon Kenya Limited.
Standing tall at the heart of Tattoo City lies Lifestyle Heights, a prestigious property in a prime area offering you spacious 2 and 3 bedroom and 3 bedroom plus DSQ apartments. With state-of-the-art amenities, Lifestyle Heights offers you constant water supply, round-the-clock security, green and open spaces such as the pergolas and kids play area, lifts, among many other amenities. Contact us and come see us for an amazing open day on the 27th and 28th of March.
We've been following the daring story of Bob Muti, a Kenyan IT enthusiast who is helping Kenyan students pursue master's education in the US.
Scholarships are there. It's only that people don't have that patience.
Find out how many has he helped and how are they faring. On Kenya to the World, Tribal Trends, a Kenyan fashion house that dresses international celebrities. And on My Magical Kenya, Hope in Diani as tourist numbers increase.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
Thank you for staying with us on NTV at 1. Today, the 13th of March 2021, marks a year from the first time the Ministry of Health reported the first confirmed COVID-19 patient in Kenya since the beginning of the outbreak in China in December of 2019. 1 year down the line, NTV's Seth Olale looks at the year that has been from the start to date.
The news had been around. It was on the international front, but it slowly started coming closer home, and then it hit home. Panic had already begun seeping into the country, and anxiety getting more tangible when Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe led a host of other CSs and senior state officials at the steps of Harambee House.
I want to inform you that the Ministry of Health has confirmed the first coronavirus case in Kenya.
This was the announcement that began the change of life for everyone. An announcement made on March 13th, 2020, which was Friday the 13th, handing the superstitious an opportunity to go down that path.
And your love for those around you.
The patient in question, according to the CS, was a Kenyan who had traveled back to Nairobi from the United States of America through London, United Kingdom. On the 5th March 2020, she was confirmed COVID-19 positive by the National Influenza Center Lab at the National Public Health Lab of the Ministry of Health. In a bid to prevent further transmission of the virus in Kenya, the government, through the Ministry of Health, introduced a series of containment measures, including contact tracing, isolation, halting arrival of international passenger flights, closing schools, imposing curfew, and at some point locking down of counties, mandatory wearing of masks, unveiling of an economic stimulus plan, and more. Since the first patient announced on 13th March 2020, Kenya has confirmed 111,935,000 infections from a cumulative test of 1,390,000, representing 8.24% infection rate. A total of 88,209 patients have recovered from the disease, which is equivalent to 78.8%, with a total of 632 patients currently admitted at various health facilities. 1,901 patients have unfortunately succumbed to the illness, putting Kenya's death rate at 1.7%. The country is now dealing with the third wave of infections, with containment measures still being in place, some relaxed and others escalated. Seth Olale, NTV.
If you'll recall, yesterday, as part of the measures to contain the third wave of the COVID-19 virus, is a banning of political rallies or gatherings for a period of 30 days. Do let us know your thoughts on that. The Twitter handles are at NTV Kenya. Mine is at O Barrows. Deputy President William Ruto, who has acceded to that request, has also urged President Uhuru Kenyatta and his handshake partner Raila Odinga to stop inciting the public against him and instead support his 2022 presidential bid, just as he supported President Uhuru Kenyatta's bid to become president beginning in 2013 and in 2017. And also he says he supported Raila Odinga in his suit to become, or rather when he became Prime Minister. Kalonzo Musyoka on his side says the new partnership with the Amani National Congress, KANU, and Ford Kenya will be a force to reckon with. Do you believe him? As the polls draw closer. Vincent Odwor with that political wrap in a little while. Before then, they say, be a man, do not cry, and do not show vulnerability. And those are such much opposing statements and attitudes. But what happens when the man or boy is struggling and suffering and in pain? Who will fight for what has been called the boy child? Well, some women have chosen to do it. Stakeholders in the anti-gender-based violence movement have started incorporating men into their programs as they aim to eradicate violence against both genders. During a stakeholders meeting in Kilifi town, it emerged that men have been sidelined in the fight against gender-based violence and are suffering in silence. A lot of programs have been initiated to empower the girl child, and as an unintended result, the boy child has been left insufficiently attended to. The stakeholders want the national and the county governments to come up with long-lasting, impactful solutions in addressing community concerns, especially on gender equality.
Watoto wengi wanabakwa, na si watoto wa kike tu wenye kubakwa, hata watoto wa kiume wanakuwa sodomized. Lakini watoto wa kike wana tabia ya kufunguka haraka sana kusema kuliko watoto wa kiume. Kwa hivyo tukisema tunatetea haki za watoto, tunatetea haki za watoto wote.
You just cannot say, okay, we're going to talk to the women and uplift the woman, which is the key. But at the same time, you need to do both. Because you uplift one, then you end up going back to square one.
We want also men to come and see what the women are doing. So in essence, we want to empower both genders, because when men see what the ladies are doing, there will be equal distribution of economic empowerment, so that we don't have then ladies are more empowered than men. So we have both men and women empowered economically.
Before we get back to Vincent Odwor, who was checking the political temperature in the country, let's take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. And the national team is gearing up for back-to-back Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers and will use a series of friendlies as a preparation. First up, South Sudan this afternoon. Goalkeeper Brian Bwire and midfielder Michael Mutinda will miss the friendly owing to injuries. The team will play 3 friendlies as build-up after South Sudan today. Then it will be Tanzania twice, first on Monday the 15th and then 3 days later on Thursday. The Harambee Stars, currently made up of a majority of locally based players, will play the 2 final AFCON qualifying matches against Egypt on March the 25th and Togo on March the 29th.
As Kenyans, we always want us to play maybe top teams, Algeria, we talked about Nigeria, but we have to understand this is outside the FIFA window. So that is why we were able at least to string in the 3 games to play outside the FIFA week, so that we can give the local players opportunity to see, to gauge them, and then to see when the abroad-based players come, how the combination is going to be.
Let's take a look now at what's happening in the English Premier League. And after returning to winning ways in convincing fashion midweek, Manchester City travelled to Craven Cottage to take on relegation-threatened Fulham in the English Premier League on Saturday night. The visitors crushed Southampton 5-2 at the Etihad in their most recent outing, while Fulham claimed a historic win on the Anfield turf over reigning champions Liverpool. Fulham's newfound defensive solidity has seen them keep 5 clean sheets in their last 7 outings, though their resolve will certainly be tested to the limit against Pep Guardiola's men. There's the new partnership with the Amani National Congress. KANU and Ford Kenya will be a force to reckon with as the polls draw closer. I wonder whether you agree with him or not. Vincent Odwer has been on top of that story. As I mentioned, my Twitter handle is at @obarrows. At NTV Kenya is the Twitter handle. You'll recall that President Uhuru Kenyatta had instructed his deputy president to resign if he's not happy within the ruling party, but he cannot go along criticizing the same government of which he's a part. We also had Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i state that it is disrespectful of the that he respects the president and others should do so as well, and that instead of making pronouncements against the Inspector General in public, he should speak to him in the National Security Council in which he sits. Well, that concludes NTV at 1. Unfortunately, we will not be able to run that report now, but it will be available at 9 p.m. Thank you for keeping me company. My name is Olive Barrows.